Sorry for that weird intro. But anyways, I'm going to be reading chapter 2 and 3 of The Collector by K.R. Alexander. We left off at the end of chapter 1. So, let's get started. Josie, Anna's voice as quiet, but since it came unexpectedly at me through the darkness of my room, it nearly made me scream. I was in bed staring at the moon out the window and still worrying about what tomorrow would be like. She was supposed to be asleep. We had school in the morning. What do you want? I grumbled. I sat up and looked at her. She was peering through the crack in my doorway. I could see her stuffed bear dangling from her hand. She didn't answer at first. Instead, she looked back as if she was worried that Mom was going to catch her. Then she stepped in the room and closed the door quietly behind her. I was wondering if I could sleep in here, she asked. I groaned. My first night with a big room all to myself, and Anna was having nightmares again. Anna, we already talked about your bad dreams. She shook her head before I finished my sentence, then crept up to my bed. It's not dreams, she said. I haven't even fallen asleep yet. Another groan for me. We had that talk too. How sometimes when you dream, you don't think you're dreaming, but it still isn't real. And Anna had a hard time Oh my god, I'm stuck on a word. Sorry, I'm still a 7th grader here. I'll be right back when I figure out what the word is. So I'm just gonna go up with word. Distinguishing reality from dreams. Mom said I was just like her at that age, but I didn't believe it. You're 7 years old, I said. You're too big for bad dreams. I wasn't dreaming, she yelled. Then she slapped a hand to her mouth while I shushed her. Sorry, she whispered. I said I wasn't dreaming. I heard something from the woods that made me sit up straighter. Part of the reason I was still up was from thinking about school, but another part I didn't want to admit was that I couldn't stop hearing things from outside. Coyotes, I told myself, or owls. I'd watched enough nature documentaries to know that a lot of the animals woke up at night to hunt, especially in the forest. The noises were natural, even if they were scary. They're just animals, I said. Animals don't laugh, she whispered back. Some hyenas do. I knew there weren't hyenas in Illinois, but she didn't need to know that. They weren't animals, she replied. I know it. I think they were talking about us. I shivered. Are you sure you weren't asleep? I asked. She shook her head again. Her stuffed bear hugged tight. Positive. Fine. I rolled over and pulled back the covers for her, but this is the last time. I still haven't forgiven you for telling Mom I snore, but you do, Anna whispered. You're like a train. I couldn't help it. I giggled. She could be serious sometimes. Anna giggled too and curled over. Good night, Josie, she said. Good night, Anna. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Don't let the bed bugs bite. They won't bite me. They'll be too busy nibbling on you. I giggled again, but I didn't fall asleep right away. I lay there for a while, listening to her breathing, slowed down, and occasionally snuffled. If anyone snored, it was her. I couldn't get what she said out of my head. I think they were talking about us. I knew it was stupid to believe her. She'd probably fallen asleep without knowing and slipped into a strange dream. But that didn't make me feel much better. I'd been hearing something all day too. Something from the woods, something from one place we weren't supposed to go, and if it was calling to Anna too, that meant it was real. and it wanted us. This is chapter 3 of The Collector by K.R. Alexander. Yeah, Alexander. Sorry for my fast reading. I knew it was a bad dream. I knew it was a bad dream because I wouldn't have walked into the woods on my own at night. Still, I couldn't get the smell of sharp tang of crushed berries and soap, could hear the snap of branches under my feet and the howl of distant wind. I could feel the biting cold on my skin. I could taste the fear in my throat as I walked. I didn't know why I was dreaming of the woods behind Grandma Jenny's house. I didn't know why I wasn't waking up. I just knew that I had to keep on walking. If I stopped walking, she would find me. If she found me, I was dead. The woods were dark. The moon above was full, so I could see the faint path at my feet. Maybe I should go a different way. But no, if I did that, I'd get lost, and then she'd definitely find me, and I would definitely be dead. I had to keep moving. I had to stay warm. I had to find something. But what? Keep walking, keep walking. Something snapped behind me. A branch? A bone? I turned around. My heart was beating so loud and fast I could hear it. A shadow moved between the trees. The flash of teeth, of glowing white eyes. I ran, and she ran after me. I could hear her now, crashing through the trees, calling out my name. Josie, Josie. She was getting closer. I ran faster. Branches tore at my legs and hit my face, but I didn't stop. She was so close. I could hear her breathe. I could smell her breath. I could feel her breath burning the back of my neck. There, up ahead, through the trees, there was a light, a window, a house. Grandma Jenny's. It had to be. She would keep me safe. Grandma Jenny always kept us safe. I ran. Sorry, that's the ringtone. All right. Grandma Jenny always kept us safe. I ran harder. The creature behind me was howling now, howling and laughing like a wolf or a hyena or an old woman. I was so close to the light, to home. But when I burst through the trees, I knew I was wrong. It wasn't Grandma Jenny's house. It was old and the paint was peeling. The yard was overgrown and filled with broken statues. I didn't have time to care. I ran up to the path, to the front porch. The lights were on. Someone had to be home. I pounded on the front door. Please, I yelled. Please let me in. She's coming for me. Please help. A shadow moved behind the curtain. The creature howled behind me. The door opened. I looked at the person who opened it. It wasn't a person at all. It was a doll. A doll the same height as me, with blank eyes and a sad smile. Welcome home, Josie, she said. Before I could scream, before I could run, the doll's cold fingers wrapped around my wrist, and she yanked me inside. That was chapter 2 and 3. Chapter 4 will be next. I'm hoping I will, from the looks of it, I'll do chapter 4 and 5 because they're sort of small. So that was chapter 3 and 4, or 2 and 3. So you can see I did get farther in the book today. I'm right here instead of back here. I am a lot ahead of you guys. I'm on chapter 18. If you do like horror books, though, I'd suggest you read this one. It's pretty good. Well, you are reading it, so never mind. I will hopefully get some more books. I might actually pick out more horror books because they seem to interest me more than the other books. But I do like comics better, so if you want me to read a comic or anything like that, please suggest it. I am going to get another book from my library, and I'm going to pick out a comic, 2 more comics. Comics I read in a snap, so I get through those as fast as I get them. So yeah, if I do end up getting those comics that I want, I will read them. I will read each book for a video. The books, for the comic books, I will show you the pictures though. For these kind of books, since they are just plain out words only, you don't see it. You'll have to imagine it like I do. I always imagine it for these kind of books. But anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe. Whoopsies. Excuse me. And comment what books I should read. Thank you, and yeah, bye-bye.